Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is Straight Out of Boston here. Today I'm back for episode number 4 of my New York Mets Dynasty series here on Out of the Park Baseball 19. And today we are back with the end of the 2018 regular season. So here is an updated look at the playoff picture right now. So Washington, yes, they have actually clinched the NL West. We're 21 games back with 9 to play for us. Actually, 10 to play for us, I should say. And we are currently holding that second wildcard spot pretty solidly. As you can see, the rest of the NL has kind of fallen off. It was kind of these three teams the whole time that were our biggest challengers: San Francisco, Milwaukee, and St. Louis, and they are all sitting one game under 500. And St. Louis and San Francisco in particular have lost 8 of their last 10, and I've kind of fallen off despite the fact that we haven't played our best baseball. We've basically been playing 500 baseball for the last couple of months, but it has been just enough. We are 10 games over 500 and 5.5 up with a 5 magic number 5. I don't know how to phrase that properly, but our magic number is number 5 is what I should say for securing that second wild card spot. So we've got about 10 games left in the regular season. I'm going to simulate those with you guys live here, and then I will get into the wild card game hopefully. Now there is still, time for things to change, but I think we are looking pretty good. Ooh, that's kind of a big loss for us. Jamie Callahan, he goes down. He had not really been pitching well, so he was called back up at the beginning of September, and yeah, still really struggling for us, which kind of disappointing to see, quite honestly. But hopefully he can turn it around next year when he comes back. But he's going to be missing the remainder of the season, probably including the postseason, even if we made it as deep as possible. So anyway, a couple updates how the rest of the regular season played out for us. So we ended up, the manager, Mickey Callaway, actually ended up giving Carlos Rodon a handful of starts over Zach Wheeler in the month of August, and he really struggled in that role, so I had to lock him in as a reliever so we could get Wheeler back in the rotation. Wheeler struggled a little bit in the second half. His ERA is down to 4.33, or up to 4.33, I should say. So, kind of understandable why, and he just had another pretty bad start right there, up to 4.87 now. Understandable why Callaway maybe wanted to see if Rodon could take a hold of that spot in the rotation, but he really didn't do it for us. His ERA was something like 5, a little above 5 after a handful of starts, 4 or 5 starts. So, and Robert Selman is out for 13 months with a torn rotator cuff. That stinks. He had been down on AAA up until September 1st when we called him back up, but honestly, he could have been on a postseason roster spot because he had been pitching pretty well in September. He had that nice 6-1. I guess his ERA was only 4.50, but it's a pretty small sample. And yeah, that nice 6-1 strikeout to walk ratio at least. Plus, he can provide a little bit of a multi-inning relief role, which can be valuable, especially in the postseason. But he's out for the rest of the year. That stinks as well. We are currently 4 games up on St. Louis, and our magic number is 4. So anyway, I wanted to mention that this year in OOTP, they finally fixed it where it used to be that you had to have guys on the 25-man roster on September 1st for them to be, or on August 31st actually, for them to be, Frazier's pissed, for them to be eligible for the postseason roster. But in real life, for a while now, it's been that they only have to be on the 40-man roster, and they finally fixed that this year. And I think that's something that, at least in this year's game, you can change in the league rules, but obviously you don't have to. I'm not sure if you could have done it in previous years, but it was always a little bit annoying having to keep an eye on the 25-man roster right around August 30th or 31st. And making sure you have the guys on there that you wanted to put on your postseason roster. Big injury news for us. We ended up also losing Yoenis Cespedes for the rest of the regular season. At least he's still out for 2 more weeks with a torn quad. He got hurt about 4 weeks ago. He had been really struggling in the second half. OPS all the way down to 812. So not a huge loss per se, but certainly one of the more intimidating bats in our lineup. Other guys, Cabrera has tailed off a little bit, but still having a pretty good year for us. Numbers are kind of right around where they were last year. DJ LeMahieu had gotten off to a pretty good start with us and then has really tailed off the last few weeks. So he has not been that great for us, unfortunately. Mookie Betts has been playing decent. Looks like his numbers are actually up from what I had initially seen from him. So he's pretty much doing what he was doing in Boston. Numbers are pretty similar, and you can see I got his center fielder rating up to 55 because he has been playing center field primarily, and I actually took the lock off of his position, and it still has him playing center field, which is nice to see. I figured when Cespedes went down, maybe they would move Betts to right, Conforto to left, and Lagares into the everyday center field role. But right now we have Bryce Brent's playing left field, which I don't really love. I kind of rather do what I said, but like I said, at this point it doesn't really matter. Rosario has continued to kind of falter, but I've seen his potential go up to 4 stars, so I'm hoping it could stick around there. I see his defensive rating has fallen to 65 grade, which I don't really like to see. Dom Smith has tailed off, but he's still provided pretty decent numbers for us at first base. And the catchers have been doing all right. And other than that, nothing to really update pitching-wise. Familia still having kind of a rough year, but Swarzak has gotten his ERA down all the way to about 4, and Betances has gotten his ERA down to 3.15 with us. So we've gotten some improvement from some of our relievers. Some of these guys have regressed a little bit. Rom and Robles are up to ERAs over 4, but it's kind of been up and down seasons for a lot of our guys in the bullpen. But let's take a look at that standings. Now the magic number is just 1. St. Louis has lost 3 in a row. Milwaukee and San Francisco have actually won 3 in a row, but we're still 5 up in the loss column on those guys. So one more win for us or one more loss from Milwaukee will secure it. And let's see if we can lock down that playoff spot with this tilt against Atlanta. And we do. A 7-6 win secures a second wild card spot for us. Man, I cannot talk right now. I have a big cut on my tongue that is bothering me, but I am powering through because that's just what tough guys do. Am I right? Anyway, so there you have it. Mats with a pretty crappy start, but the bullpen held it down other than Swarzak, who gave up the lead after that. 3 scoreless innings from Blevins, Betances, and Familia, and it was a 2-run home run from Juan Lagares off AJ Minter that gave us the lead in the 8th inning, and that propels us into the playoffs. So we are back into the playoffs for the first time since 2016. And that is pretty cool. I'm pretty happy that we ended up making the playoffs. I know I kind of said I was rooting for a little bit more chaos at the beginning of the year, maybe a situation where we'd have to sell off guys, but honestly, we're still going to be faced with those decisions one way or another, whether we, secure the second wild card spot or not, or obviously we have. So, but whether we had or not, eventually we're going to have to decide on, whether or not we want to extend guys like DeGrom and Syndergaard and what to do with some of our core pieces, but. Like I said, pretty satisfied with making the playoffs. Let's see if we can win this last game, get to 87 wins. We've got Miami here. Of course, I don't want anyone getting hurt in these last few games, so shouldn't really care too much. And there we go, an 8-2 win. DeGrom led the league in wins, and DeGrom also won Pitcher of the Month for September, it appears. Wow, Bryce Harper hit 363. He had 50 homers. This must have been one of the most ridiculous seasons of all time. 10.8 wins above replacement, a 202 OPS plus, led the league in average OBP and slugging, 214 hits, 50 home runs. That's unbelievable. He is going to get seriously paid in the offseason. That is a ridiculous season, even by Bryce Harper standards. Bogarts won the AL batting title, hitting 349. And there it is, DeGrom winning Pitcher of the Month for September. He finished the year with a 2.82 ERA and 19 wins, 6.1 wins above replacement, a 154 ERA plus. That is obviously a spectacular season. 239 innings. He led the league. 239 and 2/3, I should say. So pretty cool stuff. And we're going to be taking on Arizona in the wild card game. They won 91 games. Also, the victim of having an absurdly good team in their division. LA and Washington, far and away the best teams in the league this year. Pretty cool to see some teams win 108 and 112 games respectively. Let's look at their run differentials. See Pythagorean 107, and for Washington, their Pythagorean was 103, so they got a little bit luckier. Well, actually, both teams got pretty lucky. They were 5 wins above their Pythagorean win-loss, but anyway, let's take a look at it for us. I know we had been playing a little bit above our Pythagorean win-loss all year. We actually finished below it, though. According to the run differential, should have been 89 and 73 as opposed to 87 and 75. We finished 7th in runs scored and 3rd in runs against, so definitely our pitching was our strong suit. The offense was pretty average for the National League. But that was despite a guy like Ahmed Rosario playing every day and actually hitting leadoff for some reason. This is I wish I could, how you can set player strategy and lock guys at positions. I wish I could lock Ahmed Rosario in the goddamn 8-hole in this lineup, because he is such a black hole. As an offensive player, 63 OPS plus. But hopefully that improves next year. It should improve. His bat should be decent. Um, Definitely better than what he showed this year, but he's never going to be an offensive force by any means. So let's take a look at the lineup, though, one more time. Sort by WAR. So Betts had the best overall season out of anyone on the team. He actually finished pretty hot for us. Got his Mets OPS up to 912 and ended up being worth 6.5, 6.4 wins. Conforto with a 5-win year. He is definitely going to be a building block along with Betts for us. Hopefully we can re-sign Betts. Wow, Conforto actually led the league in strikeouts, but it did not matter. Hit 263, but a 373 on base and a 518 slugging is good for a 136 OPS plus, and combined with some above average defense out in right field gives him a 5-win season. LeMahieu, a 3-win year, despite not really doing too much with the bat. He actually improved a little bit towards the end of the year with us. Got the OPS plus up to 102, but his glove and his base running, actually his base running is not even that good, but his glove is pretty solid playing up the middle. That's an important position to have a good glove at. Cabrera, about a 2.5-win year, only in 115 games too, so he could have had about a 3-win year if he had stayed healthy. And as you can see, I've been playing him at third base over Todd Frazier, who never really got it going for us this year. He actually did finish with a 728 OPS, which isn't terrible, but prefer using him in that backup corner role. Although we have Flores as the backup first baseman right now, but overall, like, we have a pretty deep. I mean, I don't want to say deep because none of these guys. It's not like we have starting caliber players on our bench, but we have solid bench bats with Flores and Frazier, and Plawecki too, when you consider him, or Darno, whoever's on the bench on a given day. Dom Smith finished with 1.7 wins in 100 games. Not a bad year out of him. I'd like to see his numbers jump a little bit next year, but his potential is not that high. He kind of might be capped out, to be honest. So first base could be a spot we like to upgrade in the future. And other than that, no one too impressive. Pitching-wise, of course, DeGrom leading the way, and Syndergaard actually had the higher WAR, and he only made 27 starts. His peripherals must have been pretty nasty. Oh yeah, see, this is a big part of it, only allowing 0.4 home runs per 9 with that nice 60 grade movement rating. So he must have had a low left on base percentage or something, because I bet his FIP was a lot lower than his ERA based on what his WAR was. Yeah, he had a 230 FIP. That is redonkulous. And so yeah, I mean, that's the thing. If we get in the postseason, I mean, we have the kind of starting pitching that can carry a team to a deep run in the postseason. But like I said, I don't really have high expectations for how this postseason is going to play out. I would imagine Arizona is going to be able to throw Greinke in the wild card game, and I hope I didn't screw up. All right, so Syndergaard, the game is tomorrow, so he could go on 3 days rest. DeGrom, wow, he just pitched, so I did kind of screw this up. I wish the game kind of recognized that, because I was not really paying attention the last couple of days, but we'll probably just throw Syndergaard on 3 days rest. I'm certainly not going to throw Mats in the game, but yeah, DeGrom pitched the last game of the regular season for no reason. I don't know why. If I had been thinking a little bit more, I would have manually played this game and started someone else, of course, but that's all right. Syndergaard, he should be somewhat ready to go, and he's young, so hopefully he will be just fine. And we've got some arms to use out of the bullpen. Harvey finished with a 3.36 ERA. I wonder what he still wants for an extension. Up to 8.5 for 4 years at 8.5 per, but I still don't really think I'm going to bring him back, honestly. It depends. Definitely depends. We'll see how the offseason plays out when we get there, but anyway, let's take a look at Arizona's team real quick before we play this game, as I think they won 91 games, and yes, they did. And they had a Pythagorean win-loss of 87 and 75. So their run differential wasn't as good as ours. And it looks like they're going to throw Taiwan Walker in the game, who does not really scare me too much. He's coming off Tommy John, I think. Or I don't know. He just missed a lot of time in the season, but I think he must have. The game probably didn't have him getting Tommy John, because I think that probably happened after the game came out. Greinke did not have a good year. His ratings have really started to fall off, so he's definitely starting to hit the backside of his career. Godley has pretty good ratings in this game, and he had a decent season. Nothing spectacular. 109 ERA plus. And they're without Robbie Ray. He is on the disabled list. He's probably, or definitely, is their highest rated pitcher. But he's a weird pitcher with how many walks and how many home runs he gives up, but strikes out everyone, so gets away with it. And Shelby Miller not available. Not that they're really going to miss him. They also don't have Jake Barrett, who maybe could have aided their bullpen a little bit. Their bullpen, they've got this Jared Miller guy who is a nice young lefty for them, who usually turns out to be pretty good in this game. He's got good ratings, as you guys can see there. Archie Bradley, of course, one of the best relievers in baseball, at least last year. I honestly don't even know how he's doing this year, numbers-wise, but and they've got Brad Boxberger. And then in the lineup, they have pretty good bats, especially at the top of their lineup with A.J. Pollock, who had a phenomenal year, 358 OBP, 522 slugging. Bet he was worth at least 5 wins, 6 wins. Peralta really cooled off in the second half, but still finished with an 865 OPS. And Goldschmidt, of course, the best bat in the lineup. Almost an 8-win season for him. Probably could have won MVP if it weren't for Harper, but I guarantee Harper will win MVP. Jake Lamb finished out the year pretty strong, so he could be someone to look out for in this wildcard game. He'll certainly be in there against the right-handed Syndergaard. Ketel Marte, decent season at him. He's hitting second for them. 337 OBP hitting in that 2-hole. Their lineup does kind of fall off, though. Souza, not too good. Avila, not too good. Nick Ahmed, not too good. So they've got some holes in their lineup, but they've got some really good bats as well. So it's going to be a tough game. They've got a good team. And, we're throwing Syndergaard on 3 days rest, so that's going to be a little bit of a challenge. He probably won't be able to go as deep into the game as he would have otherwise. So, but that's my fault. Can't really do anything about it now. So we're going to adjust the lineup. I'm not absolutely... Actually, I should do my postseason roster, shouldn't I? I don't think that would be set in stone. So, is there anyone on here that we want that is not on the roster? It doesn't look like it. David Wright barely played after he got called up in September. He was not really doing much on his rehab assignment. Actually, he did end up with an 838 OPS playing in AAA, but playing in that Las Vegas stadium can be deceiving because that is a very hitters-friendly ballpark. Hitter-friendly. So I think the postseason roster is fine. I don't see anyone who I would be clamoring for to get on there. We really only have 31. No, we have 35 guys on our... Well, I guess some of them are hurt. That's probably why. Because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 6, 7, 8. No, just 6, 7. That's weird. I don't know why some guys aren't eligible for the postseason roster. A little bit confusing. I guess. Oh no, Selman's on the 60 day, so he's off the 40-man. A little bit weird. 31 on the active roster. I don't think anyone who... Yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess, yeah, because a guy like Brent's didn't get put back on the 40-man until September 1st. That makes sense, actually. All right, so, yeah, this is the outfield alignment I want anyway for the game. So the roster's fine. We've got Frazier, Flores, Plawecki, and Cicchini off the bench. We could go with one more bat, but that's probably unnecessary in this game. However, we're going to have plenty of pitchers available. So we could remove a guy like Rodon. I gotta figure out how to pronounce his name if I'm gonna keep him around. But no, I want to keep all these arms. So we're gonna leave the postseason roster as is, and we will adjust the lineup obviously. So let's have Betts second, Conforto third, and we'll do Dominic Smith fifth. And maybe Cabrera fourth. Maybe we'll lead off with Cabrera, actually. And we'll hit d'Arnaud in the 4-hole. Then LeMahieu. Actually, no. We gotta lead off with LeMahieu because he does get on base at a decent clip. And then we'll leave Cabrera 6th. We'll hit d'Arnaud 4th. I'm fine with that. And then Rosario and Lagares running in. A couple of black holes there, but guys, we're gonna provide some good defense for us. So. All right, and we are going to throw Syndergaard. He is 78% rested. Why did he throw 112 pitches 4 days ago? Oh, why? Anyway, all right. So Syndergaard on the mound, getting the start against Arizona in the wild card game against Taijuan Walker. Winner take all, loser go home. Not winner take all, but loser will go home. Winner moves on to face LA in the division series. I'm sure that will be a real competitive matchup. All right, and let's do this. So I'm gonna leave it on the old. Should I put on the monitor? I'll put on the monitor view for you guys. Screw it. We'll do it. We're going big for the wild card game, and here we go. I'm gonna go half inning, and I'm just gonna go until runners in scoring position for whenever we are pitching. Leadoff double for AJ Pollock. Now it's Ketel Marte. He grounds one into the hole. Good play by Rosario. The cool thing about this 3D view, and actually not the 3D view, but the fact that like the guys follow the ball and everything, and that this whole gameplay part of it is much improved, is you can actually tell like a bad shortstop would not have made that play, and the ball would have been hit the exact same, but a shortstop just wouldn't have gotten to it. Like that's one thing I noticed in my A's save. I had a shortstop with like a 75 grade defensive rating, and he was making crazy plays like diving to stop balls up the middle. So it's actually noticeable when you have good defenders in the actual gameplay. So that's something pretty cool. And look at our defensive ratings. I mean, our outfield defense is really solid with this alignment, and our infield defense is pretty good too. So that could be one advantage for us. We will see if it plays out that way. It is Goldschmidt up. I probably should have pitched around him, but it didn't matter because he grounds out to the third baseman. 2 down for Jake Lamb. I think I am going to pitch around Jake Lamb because he's hot right now. And he goes down on strike 3 looking. So Syndergaard gets out of the first inning. No runs for Arizona. Now next inning for us. We do get 1. Let's see how that came to be. Can we do game log? It was a RBI single by Juan Lagares, it looks like. Scored d'Arnaud. Smith was held up at third, and then a double play for Rosario ended the inning. So on to the bottom of the second, and Syndergaard does not allow a man into scoring position. He will lead off the third, and we get 1 more run, so we got a 2-run lead now. It was, wow, Syndergaard actually scoring after he walked, and he came around on an RBI double from Michael Conforto. So that is pretty cool. 2-0 Mets now. Into the bottom of the third we go. Syndergaard facing 8-9-1. He gets through them 1-2-3. On to the fourth. Still 2-0 as we head to the bottom of the fourth now. The heart of the lineup up for Arizona. And Syndergaard setting him down. He is settled into a rhythm, it seems. Guy has not reached second base since the first inning, so that is a good sign. 5th inning, nothing going for us. It is 5, 6, 7 due up for Arizona. One thing I do like about this view is you can actually see the energy bar for your pitcher, which is kind of helpful. I usually like to take guys out right around when they get to the orange. I don't like to, even for relievers, even when they get to the yellow, I usually am pretty careful. I have a quick hook generally as someone who manages the game, but we'll have to keep an eye on this as Syndergaard, of course. He's got that 70 stamina rating, but we have to keep in mind that he is throwing on 3 days rest. So we will keep going until runners in scoring position, and another clean inning for Syndergaard. Set him down 1-2-3 once again, so he is really pitching effectively now. And let's just take a quick look at the box score. He has only allowed the 1 hit, and he has 7 Ks, no walks, so he is having a dynamite performance. This is a huge game for him. On to the top of the 6th we go. Nothing going there for us, although we got a couple guys on, I can see. On to the bottom of the 6th. Syndergaard, 72 pitches. I'm going to start going batter by batter because his energy bar is getting pretty low. That is going to be an infield hit, isn't it? Oh, drop by the first baseman. Actually, that was LeMahieu. They call that a bad throw. I wonder if that will go as an error. Let's see. They did rule that an error. So still 1 hit allowed by Syndergaard. Now it is a pinch hitter, it looks like, or they double switched already. Corbin is into the game now. He had a pretty nice year as a starter for them, but they moved him to the bullpen for the postseason, I guess. Anyway, that is a ground ball. Could be 2. And we turn the double play. A big 4-6-3 double play right there. 2 down in the inning now. And it's AJ Pollock up with 2 outs. That is a grounder to the shortstop, Rosario. His throw is in time. And Syndergaard threw 6 one-hit shutout innings. But his energy is starting to get a little bit low. I'm definitely going to let him start the next inning, but I'll have someone warming up when he does start that inning. And we've got first and third with no outs now for Travis d'Arnaud. First two guys aboard here for the Mets. We could add some insurance here. That ball's hit high and deep to right center field, and it is gone. A 3-run home run. Travis d'Arnaud goes oppo taco, and it's 5-0 New York Mets. We've opened up the lead here to a 5-run lead. We've opened up the ball game to a 5-run lead, I should say. And that is huge. So that did that come off McFarland, or is he just coming into the game? Looks like he's just coming into the game. I don't know who gave that up, but whoever just came in for Arizona was not very effective, obviously. Now Dom Smith with a base hit. Still no outs in the inning. We could add on even more runs right here. This would be pretty nice. Second and third now. That was a double by Cabrera. So second and third for Lagares. Syndergaard might actually get up this inning. And Lagares walks. So bases are going to be loaded for Ahmed Rosario. He comes up, 1 strike on him. That is a slow grounder. Catcher will just tag home plate right there. So 1 out in the inning now, no run. But the bases remain loaded for Syndergaard, who I am going to leave in. Honestly, I would consider pinch hitting in that situation because that's a really high leverage spot for a batter. But he is also our best pitcher, and if I can get one more outing out of him with a 5-run lead, I think that's worth it to leave him in the game. LeMahieu with 2 strikes. Facing a lefty, hits it hard, but Goldschmidt's like, that's the play. If you have a low-rated first baseman right there, I bet that ball gets by. But Goldschmidt, he's like a 70-grade first baseman in this game. And, of course, he's really good defensively in real life, too. So, it makes sense. Anyway, on to the bottom of the 7th. So, Syndergaard, you can see that bar right in the middle of that yellowness. And he's at 80 pitches. I bet he will not last more than 90 pitches in this game. I think I'm going to get... Honestly, I think I'm going to get Swarzak up. I could get Ramos up. He had a pretty good year. Swarzak, though, I have faith in Swarzak, and I'm keeping Familia as the closer. So we're going to get Swarzak, and we'll get Blevins up, too, in case we have a lefty-on-lefty matchup I want to go to him for. All right, so Syndergaard facing Ketel Marte. This is the heart of the lineup, too. Could be a dangerous spot, and that is going to be a base hit. Marte stops at first. Luckily, we have the 5-run lead, so we can afford to have a little bit longer of a leash than I might otherwise because the lead is at 5. That is well hit into center. That's going to get down. 2 straight on now for Arizona, and I'm tempted to go to Blevins here. I think I am going to go to Blevins because they have a bunch of lefties coming up. 3 of the next 4 batters are lefties. So that does it for Syndergaard. Definitely should have pinch hit for him in hindsight, but hopefully we can get out of this inning unscathed. That is a strikeout of Jake Lamb. Now Blevins will have to face the righty, Steven Souza. This could be a tricky spot for him. Souza with a slow ground ball to second for 1, on to first, and that is a double play. Jerry Blevins coming up big, inducing the double play, getting us out of the inning, and the lead remains 5-0. So now we have bets coming up, and I'm just going to go half inning. I think I'll sit down Swarzak for now because I don't want him to get tired, and I'm leaving Blevins in for at least 2 more batters. I don't think his spot's going to come up in the lineup. Even if it does, probably wouldn't matter, to be honest, because we'd be up like 7 or 8 runs at that point. And it did not come up. So, yeah, we're going to leave Blevins in for 2 more batters, maybe even 3 if he continues to pitch well, but that's a base hit. So, definitely just 1 more batter for Jerry, and then we'll turn it over to Swarzak. I guess we could go Betances, too, but he's actually a little bit tired. We probably should go Betances, to be honest. I'm going to go Swarzak, actually, just because Betances is a little bit tired. Anyway, Tomas up. That is strike 3 called. I guess they pinch hit for their lefty there. 1 out for Nick Ahmed. Swarzak is ready, so we're going to go to him. They have a couple, well, they have a righty, a switch hitter, and then a righty due up. So it is, I think this is, this is Nick Ahmed. That is a ground ball. Could be another double play, and, I think he beat that. He did beat that. So we get 1 there. We get the lead runner. 2 down now for Tomas Telis, who was double switched into the game earlier. That is hit pretty well to deep center field. That is Lagares going back. I think he's going to get it, and he does. So a deep fly ball, but no damage done, and we are 3 outs away from moving on to the division series. We'll go batter by batter because I'll want to pinch it for Swarzak if a spot comes up. Someone was criticizing me in the first episode for not pinch hitting for my pitcher in one of the games, but to be honest, I was not managing that closely in those games. Of course, in the postseason, I'm paying much closer attention because these games count for a lot more, obviously, especially this game. First two guys have reached here against Andrew Chaffin on walks. Now Rosario's ahead in the count 2-1. That is a base hit into center field. The runner will be held at third, but the bases are loaded now. And with the lefty on the hill, we are going to go to, I think, Todd Frazier for a pinch hit spot here. Get Familia warm in the bullpen. Frazier with a 1-2 count. They go to the righty now, John Duplantier. Probably would have pinched hit Frazier anyway, even if I knew the righty was coming in ahead of time. But he strikes out. One down for DJ LeMahieu now. LeMahieu with a ground ball. They're going to go home with it. And, ooh, a nice 3-6-3, or a nice, what would that be? A 3-2-3 double play, I should say, for the Diamondbacks. So they get out of that inning with no runs coming across. Do we want to put Frazier into the game defensively is the question. He is not that much better than Cabrera defensively. So I think we're just going to leave Cabrera in. And no other defensive replacements I think we need to make. So Familia into the ball game now, 3 outs away from sending us to the division series for what would be the third time in 4 years, actually. 2017 would be the only year we had not made the division series, I believe. Right? Did the Mets lose in the wild card game in 2016? Honestly, I'm blanking now, and I don't even remember. So I'm going to take back what I said. Anyway, Marte reaches. Now Goldschmidt up with a man on. He strikes out. 2 down now. And Jake Lamb is the last chance for Arizona. The 2-2 pitch is popped up right side of the infield. LeMahieu under it. And actually, it is going to be the first baseman, Dominic Smith, sending the New York Mets to the National League Division Series. A 5-0 win here in the wild card game thanks to Noah Syndergaard's dominant performance, 6+ innings, 7 strikeouts, no walks, only allowed 3 hits. And then the bullpen did the rest. Blevins came up big. Gave us 4 outs. Swarzak gave us 2 outs, and Familia closed it out. And, of course, Travis Arnett with the big 3-run homer. And we had Conforto with an RBI double, scoring Syndergaard. And I don't even remember how we scored our first run. Looks like it was Juan Lagares. Oh, of course, it was Lagares driving in d'Arnaud, I guess. So there you have it. We are moving on to the division series. Pretty exciting stuff. Definitely getting further than I thought we were going to this year. And we're going to be taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers, so that's going to be a tough test for us. Anyway, that is going to do it, so I hope you guys did enjoy. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all in the Division Series. I'm out. Peace.